Hello everybody, giving you a quick intro here just to explain what this video is. We are doing an abridged version of the shoot around from now on as a main upload. If you want to check out a longer version of the show, that will be the top link in the description. But in this episode, we're going to be going over contract extensions and whether or not we think these players were overpaid or underpaid. Go subscribe to the shoot around over on YouTube to get us to 10K subs and like the video if you like it. Let's get to the new version of the shoot around.
Cade Cunningham, 5-year, $224 million, over or underpaid?
So what I'm supposed to say is that it's an overpay because he hasn't actually done anything meaningful and yada, yada, yada. But it's an underpay because I would die for him. I would fall on a grenade for him.
I don't know. It's easy to be like, oh, this guy is not proven enough or whatever for that money. But the reality is that's just the way the NBA is right now. You don't not give a young guy who clearly has plenty of ability and potential money just because you as a franchise have done a horrible job putting the pieces around him. Like, you're going to deny him his money because of your fuck ups? Not to mention then, okay, what's the plan if Cade Cunningham just leaves? You have to account for the desperation of the franchise that you're talking about. And when the Pistons have something resembling a star-level talent, they hold on to that for dear life, whether it's Cade Cunningham or Andre Drummond. Let's just hope this isn't a repeat of the Andre Drummond thing. At the very least, Cade Cunningham seems like the right archetype of player to build around as opposed to a rebounder. Since we can't say neither, I'll say overpaid because there's a chance, but also maybe 5 years from now, when your average star player is making 90 million and Cade's making 45, that looks like a steal. So for now, I don't think Cade is currently a 45 million a year player, but I think it'll be fine.
I think he's underpaid because the salary cap rises every single year. And so they signed him to this extension now, which is based on current salary cap numbers. And as the salary cap rises, this contract will remain the same. So they are getting him at a dollar amount that you may look at and say, he's not worth this now. But by the end of the contract, when the salary cap's risen by $75 million, we're going to be like, oh, he's only taking up like 22% of the cap. That's fine. So he's underpaid.
Jalen Green, 3 years, $106 million, overpaid or underpaid?
I don't think he's either overpaid or underpaid, but I think the structure of the contract is stupid from the Rockets' perspective. The big issue is it's a 2+1. So let's say that Jalen Green either plays up to or outplays the contract. Say he is good as, I personally think he is, and as a lot of Rockets fans, and clearly the Rockets front office thinks he is. If he plays up to or outplays that contract, they only have him for 2 years, and then if he's like playing like an all-star, that third year rolls around, he's like, I can accept this player option and get this dollar amount for 1 year, or I can become a free agent and get more money from a different team, or make the Rockets pay me way more money. And they would have to pay him more down the line. So instead of just paying the money now they're going to face another situation where they're like, well, do we pay the money to keep him? Or, they could have locked him up on, you would have paid more money now, but you would have had him longer term. So the structure of the deal made me a little confused, where I was just like, why not just pony up the money now and then deal with the rest later? Why would you kick the can down the road further?
A factor of it has to be what Jalen wanted though, right? Because there's a good chance he was like...
Of course he wants this. Right. A player option is one of the best things you can get as a player from a contract perspective. Of course he wanted this.
What I'm saying is, he is kind of taking the middle ground of... And I think the Rockets are too, where there's still some unsureness about how good he actually is. So, like, if he's not that good, then you haven't committed to fucking over your salary cap for 5 years. And on Jalen's end of things, if he ends up being much better than $35 million a year, then he can get that money sooner than later. To me, it makes sense as a pretty fair middle ground between the two.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I just think if you give Jalen 2 contracts right now, and one is the rookie max extension and one is the 2+1 that he got, he would take the rookie max extension, no doubt, because that's more money and over a longer period of time. The Rockets I'm of the opinion that if you have the talent, you kind of just have to pay. Like we said earlier, that's just how it is in the NBA. Like you just gotta pony it up. So I just personally, from like my personal philosophy, obviously I'm not a general manager, I'm not a salary cap guy necessarily. So, my philosophy could be wrong, but I'm of the opinion that you just, it might be an overpay, but you pay the money and then you figure the rest out later.
So it's like a show of faith on the Rockets end of things. Hey, we're going to give you $100+ million. What does he say, Jacob? About $35 million a year because of what you've shown us so far. But again, to Jacob's point, it's just like we want to make sure, because like what if they give him 5 years for whatever he was eligible for, and we've come to find out that, so he's only good in March. That really is the only month of the year that he's like really fucking good. Then it's like the whole figuring it out later thing. Well, that's how you end up either eating a bunch of dead money, or you gotta like you end up with like a Zach LaVine type character, you know what I mean? Where it's like, we can't even fucking move this guy because, you know what I mean? So I think it's just the responsible thing to do, to just wait and see, because if it's about giving him more money, they still have his bird rights. So yeah, he's gonna maybe opt out if he does end up being sweet and the Rockets end up figuring things out. The other piece of this being, are the Rockets sure who the real core of this team is 3 years from now? You know what I mean? So they're locking him down. By the time we get to the end of that timeline, they will know for sure, okay, so it's Reed Shepherd and it's Şengün and it's Jalen Green. Those are our three guys, or whoever it ends up being. You know what I mean?
When the time rolls around for other guys to get extended, you're now going to have the Jalen Green of it all as well, because instead of locking him up long term, you locked him up like medium term. And so that's going to coincide with some other guys getting their rookie extensions. And now all of a sudden you have all these decisions culminating down the road in this 2-year span where you're like, things could get a little bit weird when we get to 2026. It's more the timing of it. The dollar amount is more or less arbitrary because, like I said, the salary cap rises every year. I'm like, hardly anything is truly an overpay anymore. If you look at it from percentage of the salary cap, the timing of it is where I was like, this could have been better.
I'm going to bundle these next three guys into a single category of a question for you guys. Over or underpaid? They all got the same deal. A max extension of 5 years, $224 million. Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, and Franz Wagner.
Good deals.
How much? 224 you said?
Yep, 5 for 224. Is that 3 for 3? Good deals for both parties involved?
I think it's a
About
great
you, Jacob, you take that deal?
I don't know if I would take that deal, Udovich. I'd say that is Scotty is a good contract. Honestly, maybe an underpay. Franz, and who is the other one you were saying?
Evan Mobley.
Those guys have a lot to prove offensively that I'm a little worried about. Franz inside the arc, there's nothing to worry about. But the 3-ball drop off last year, I'm just a little worried about it. He's been good at shooting at other points in his career, so they'll probably be fine. So I'm not as concerned about him. Evan Mobley, dude, his defense is so good and his offense is so fine that it ultimately won't be like a huge deal that you're paying him this amount of money per year. It amounts to 45 on average. It might kind of suck a little bit if he just ends up being roughly the same offensive player that he is right now for the rest of his career. So Franz and Mobley, I'm a little hesitant on. I think the Scotty deal is great. I think Scotty is like going to be a crazy high-level second option to the point that it's worth that amount of money, no doubt. Especially given that he's like most of the young players to be excited, most of the young core aspect of Toronto to actually be excited about. Everybody else is cool, but Scotty's the dude.
Alex Hoop's #1 overall pick in our fantasy league, Scotty Barnes. What about Jalen Suggs?
He was. I didn't have the #1 overall pick.
Not your #1 overall pick.
Oh, I was like, pick. I don't want people to think I'm a moron drafting Scotty Barnes as the #1 overall pick.
7th overall.
Yeah, you gave yourself the first overall pick.
Well,
I am not the commish.
Who is on the board?
Okay. For some reason, I thought you were.
Scotty Barnes would also be a bad 7th pick.
It's a dynasty league.
I would have loved to have been asked to do this fantasy league. What the fuck are you guys talking about? You guys have a fantasy league?
No, my friend was like, hey, our dynasty football group is trying to do basketball, but like only half of these guys are actually interested. Do you and maybe one other person want to come on? And I was like, yeah.
Sounds like 2 other people came on.
Me and Alex.
Oh, okay. I thought Jacob was in it too. Oh,
no,
okay. Never mind. That's fine then. Oh, okay.
That's why I was ignorant.
Yeah, I would have said no. you know.
I'll give you my fantasy football team. Those guys are losers. Jalen Suggs, 5 years, 150. A lot of people probably going to feel overpay if you don't know his game or how the salary cap works. Personally, I think it's a little bit of an underpay.
Yeah, I would say that too.
Underpaid.
I think he's probably worth that right now and will be definitely a great value contract come next 2 years from now, especially if his game develops even further.
I was gonna say, I think people got to get used to $30 million today is what you pay for a high-end starter. Even if they're not a star, you might have paid a guy like this $18 million 10 years ago, but that's just not the NBA we're in anymore. You pay high-end starters $30 million. That's just kind of how it is. Isaiah Hartenstein is the other example where people, KCP, he's getting $22 million or something like that. Nick Claxton got, I think, $29 million. That's just what you pay for high-end guys like that.
Better signing for the same money, Jalen Johnson or Jalen Suggs? Who's the better Jalen for 150 over 5?
Jalen Johnson, because I feel like I see more star upside with him, whereas I think Suggs is going to be like a Drew Holiday, specifically Celtics type Drew Holiday, not all-star Pelicans or Sixers Drew Holiday, but 15 points per game, crazy three-point shooting, really good decision-making, some of the best perimeter defense in the NBA. Jalen Johnson could be an all-star, and maybe a few times at that. So 30 a year for that guy, that's a great deal.
Nick seems like he's percolating on a lot of things right now.
And the most important thing about Jalen Johnson, he did not go to Gonzaga, so he doesn't fucking suck.
This is very important. You're right.
Yes, this is a massive part of the shoot-around canon.
He went to a much better school, Duke.
Everyone
loves.
I'm fine with that. Just don't go to Gonzaga.
What school did Corey Kispert go to?
Gonzaga, which is why he fucking sucks.
He signed a 4-year, $54 million deal. By far the lowest on this list, -1.
That's a
Fire your agent, dude.
Awesome deal. No, it's a great deal. That's such a team-friendly deal. That rules.
Right, which is, as a player, you don't want to sign a team-friendly deal.
Especially when your team is the Wizards.
Right, what the fuck? Yeah, well, let's keep this up so we can give Polly a couple more shots a game.
They're saving money so they can sign Alex Sarr to an extension down the road.
A few more rookies. Trey Murphy, 4-year, $112 million. Over or underpaid?
You said 412?
412, slightly less than Jalen Johnson and Jalen Suggs per year, and 1 year less.
Underpaid with the caveat that he does more this year.
Right. If he stays the same player, that's pretty adequate. That's about what I would expect, but he's young and has a lot of ability to get better, so should have done it earlier if you wanted more money, though.
Alperen Sengun, 5 years, 185.
Okay, so my whole thing with this contract is, I think it's what, 37 million, 38 million a year?
Yeah, that seems like a good deal to me.
My whole thing with this was, I think it's a slight underpay. My whole thing with this was everyone was calling it oh my gosh, I can't believe Raphael Stone pulled off this absolute heist. And I'm like, you paid him just under the max. It's a good deal. I equated it to going to Kroger and you see buy 2 12-packs of Coke Zero, get 1 free. It's that's a good deal. Is it a steal? No, it's a good deal. I look at this Sengun deal as, I went to Kroger and I got 3 12-packs of Coke Zero for the price of 2, and I'm like, I'll take it. But I didn't just steal the 3 packs of Coke Zero.
Well, but then it kind of goes back into the economy. If you live in a state that does bottle returns, right? Because then that's what, 36. That's $3.60 that you get back from getting all 3 of those. So it's you know what I mean? It goes back into the economy.
That's a great point.
You're right. You're so right. Underpaid.
Some notable non-signings per this article, parentheses listed alphabetically. Santi Aldama and the Memphis Grizzlies did not get an extension. Josh Giddey on the Chicago Bulls did not get an extension. Jonathan Kuminga did not get an extension. And Davion Mitchell of the Raptors did not get an extension. I did not say that Kuminga plays for the Warriors, because we all know that. But, now everyone knows. Definitely the biggest standout, right? Is Kuminga not getting one. These other guys can fuck right off, frankly. Kuminga needs an extension, especially when Moses Moody got one.
God, they're in an awkward spot with him because of Draymond. Because really, unless his 3-ball really develops and like actually gets good, I don't think you can play him with Draymond and like Kevon Looney or Trace Jackson Davis, a center who can't shoot as well. Because then at that point you have 2 non-floor spacers plus Kuminga who can kind of a little bit do it, but really not at all. So you don't want to have 3 dudes who can't shoot the 3 in your lineup, but they also don't want to move on from Draymond because of the history there, and also who would want him, what kind of assets are you going to get back. It's kind of a difficult fit situation right now, and the reason Kuminga doesn't have a contract isn't because Kuminga hasn't proven to be worthy of one. It's because his spot on the Warriors is still a little up in the air.
And it's also been reported he's asking for a lot of money.
Oh, yeah?
For Jonathan. Yeah, I made a joke tweet about it where they said something, it was a tweet of like, Jonathan Kuminga is looking for a contract upwards of $225 million a year. And I was like, oh, I didn't know you could give out 12-year contracts in the NBA.
Is he the best player? Help me out with this. To come out of the G League Ignite before it folded? Because it would otherwise be like Jalen Green, Scoot was there, but like it's not him yet. So right now, who are we forgetting? I think it would be Kuminga right now.
Yeah.
Is it last 25 game Jalen Green?
Yeah, I was about to say, I'd probably take Jalen Green, but not like
Jalen Green in March is pretty electric.
Yeah.
I'd say right now Kuminga has displayed more and more consistently that I'll say him, but
he has more playoff utility, I think.
R.I.P. the Ignite. The flame has been extinguished. And then we got, again, I talked about Moses Moody. He got a 3-year, $39 million extension. Underpay for sure, right? Like, what are they doing even retaining him? Kind of a genius move. It's like some 2K shit where you underdevelop a guy, re-sign him, and you're like, all right, now you can play that. You are definitely not going to cost us an arm and a leg.
I wouldn't be surprised if, this is not the first time a team has done that, but I think this is kind of one of the first times a team has done it like really successfully, where it's like, oh wow, he's definitely going to be worth more than this. I wouldn't be surprised if the next CBA negotiations, if the Players Association looks at that and they're like, hey, you guys we need to figure out a way to make sure you can't do this anymore. Because that would be a very big problem. And I could see in the new era of the second apron, I could see a world where teams look at that and they're like, this might be pretty smart.
Yeah, draft and stash, but make it a top 10 pick and put them on the end of your bench. That's a little bit weird. It's definitely something that they probably want to legislate out of the game. I'm struggling to imagine how they could do it, but I'm also not trying to be that creative about it right now.
If I was Moses Moody, I would be like, fuck the Warriors and fuck Steve Kerr, but I'm not Moses Moody.
Yeah, $13 million a year in San Francisco is like $300,000 a year in Alabama, man. Like, I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, dude, that's at a 50% tax rate, and then you have to live in San Francisco.
Final contract extension up for discussion is this Rudy Gobert deal. 3 years, $110 million. I believed he had 2 years left on his deal, including this current season, so that he is now under contract for the next 5 years, again, including this season. Putting all their chips on the table for Rudy Gobert and sending away Cat. How we feel? Overpay? Underpay?
Underpay. You know, motherfuckers like to do rangs. I'm talking depoys. That's Rudy Gobert. That's what he's got. You know what wins you championships? What do they say? What do they say, Rudy? What do they say wins championships?
Croissants.
The Stifle Tower has got plenty of those.
That's why he has so many championships.
Yep, it's all that French blood.
I mean, how can you pay him this money when he was the worst player in the Maverick series? That's a lot of money for the worst player on the floor for that whole series.
You know, we don't get a lot of outright sarcasm from you on this podcast, Jacob. It's almost jarring.
It's funny because I'm sarcastic normally, but
we were like, "Oh, don't go to the Diddy party," and you were like, Diddy.
You were like, "Did you guys hear about this?"
Look, man, and this is the reason we need to stop doing this shit live. Sometimes, man, when I connect a thought in my head, I cannot keep it in my mouth. And that one, I was like, "Yeah, Diddy is a sexual predator. You're right."
Art from the artist.
Didn't go to his predators.
Speaking of sexual predators in basketball, though,
Oh my God.
I'm so dead ass right now. Did we see LeBron James tweeting about people booing Deshaun Watson when he broke his Achilles?
I thought you were calling LeBron a sexual predator. I was like, what is going on?
Not yet.
No, I didn't. Rudy, I didn't see this. And I didn't hear about this. Was he like disavowing those fans?
Yes,
Yeah.
he was like, man, y'all are lame. Shout out to everyone who didn't boo. Hashtag Cleveland forever. This isn't Kevin Durant going down in the finals. This is Deshaun Watson going down as the Browns quarterback.
The point I was going to make, this isn't like Kobe or Derrick Rose or, players who have a case where there is some level of ambiguity to it. This motherfucker did that, and he did that to he allegedly did that to so many people to a degree where it's like, come on, bro, this guy's a monster. This guy is a walking demon, and boo his ass every chance you get.
Yeah, it just doesn't do much for LeBron's case.
No.
Dog,
What if Bill Cosby suited up for the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, no. Rudy, let's get this thing back on the road. What else do we got?
One last thing I gotta get off my chest. This just does not do much good PR for LeBron. As much of a PR maestro as he is, as like the most Machiavellian player of all time, to the point where he can get his son on his team no matter what. It's very odd to me that he would blunder to this degree, and it does a lot to make me suspicious of him when he says, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." That's all I'm saying. He's been to the Diddy parties.
If I was LeBron after all this Diddy shit, I would shut the fuck up. I wouldn't say anything in that territory.
Maybe LeBron is just a gym rat and he never saw the Deshaun Watson news. Let's give the guy some fucking slack here. Maybe he doesn't know.
LeBron doesn't have internet.
He don't got
internet. And a
internet.
bunch of people are like doing the James Harden, he don't have internet. LeBron has internet. LeBron has
I don't
internet.
know.
He
uses
posts pictures
streaming.
on his stories of like him watching the games. It's like,
Yeah, but they don't talk about his assault during the games.
Normally,
It's-
no.
Hey, if you ever watch his like Sports Center, they do. Or like,
I'm just trying to give LeBron the benefit of the doubt. My king. I'm just trying to, paint a picture where maybe he doesn't know.
Shout out to King James. Now, to close the show,
Should we say shout out to King James after
Yes.
all of
yeah,
that?
after all of that.
Yes. Yes.
to close the show, I want to take a moment and I want to step off the court. I want to talk about pure entertainment. I want to have some fun with this podcast. Let's talk about Love is Blind. The weddings are tonight. Who's getting married? Who's getting left at the altar? What's going to happen tonight, Nick? What are your predictions?
So my thing is, I always hate the weddings because they're really boring. Like, I don't like the happy couples on Love is Blind. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not turning on the show to see people like actually like fall in love and like have really romantic stories. And so the weddings are sometimes like when you go into it and it's like, oh, this is the couple that you know for sure, like they're both gonna say yes. Like, okay, I'm gonna skip this because I'm not really here for the matrimony and the theater of this beautiful wedding of two people. It's the motherfuckers who go up there and are like, yeah, this shit's not gonna happen. So so Nick and Hannah aren't getting married. Like, seal the sign, she's not my lover like Billie Jean, but the
Yeah,
kid is mine.
they're not even going to the wedding. They broke up.
Yeah.
It's done. Righteously, too. Shout out to my favorite punter, Nick Dork.
I just wish that Leo would show up at one of these altars and like imagine if Leo was up there and his betrothed said no. He would be like, let's just say it was Hannah. He would be, Hannah, what the fuck? What are you doing? I love you so
fucking much. What the fuck?
It's not my fault that I'm financially well off. No, it's been a good series. It's been a good season of Love is Blind. I'm really hoping that
last season shit was ass.
I'm really hoping that there's at least one like someone gets shaky and says no or something crazy.
My biggest fear, and I'm horrible with names, but the stable couple, the woman is Asian and then the other guy is like kind of country.
Taylor and Garrett.
My biggest fear is that Garrett gets to the altar, sees her walk down the aisle. He's been super confident this whole time. You know, there's been one little hiccup about texting his ex, but outside of that, he's been golden. You know, he has said a couple times that his family is very unhappy about the idea of him moving to San Diego from Virginia. And if that makes him say no at the altar and they break up, I gotta hunt him down. He's dead to me.
There's no way. There's no way he's so in. Like, my girlfriend and I were trying to like get in his head, and she was like, because during all of the texting his ex stuff, it was like a conversation of, is he like blissfully ignorant to the technical nuances of just liking a message and not, like not responding, all that shit? Or does he know it because he's a smart guy? Does he know, like, science smart? Does he know exactly what he's doing? I really do think he's more golden retriever than anything. I'm not worried about them at all. I think they're good. I think it was very important to him that he got her back on his side. Oh, and then, so what's going on with Ramses and Marissa?
I don't think they stand a chance. I think
No.
Ramses is like in his head in a major way and like considers himself a virtuistic person. And Marissa is, no condescension intended, but she is like the median American. She is the most normal, standard, bog average person who, grew up in the DC area and has been like not grew up, but has grown up, as in her early adulthood in the DC area, and yet doesn't really engage with politics. She's still one of these people who's like, doesn't want to turn on her critical thinking too much. And at the end of the day, I think Ramsey's going to be like, I don't know if I want to raise my kids with this woman.
Well,
I don't
Doug,
know if I want to have sex with a condom on.
That was gonna say, so Jacob and Alex, just so you guys don't feel left out. So this guy is very like free spirited, very free flowing, and he's like, oh, the military sucks and billionaires are unethical and like free Palestine, and like he can't help himself but like put his political shit, like he can't
Very
help but
neat.
wedge. Yeah, he can't help but wedge it into every single conversation. He cannot fucking help himself, and it drives me insane. So to Rudy's point, he is very virtuistic. Unless you ask this motherfucker to wear a condom, he's gonna kill himself. He's like, what the it has to be enjoyable for me. What the fuck? Like, this guy rolls.
That's very real.
It's crazy. No, sure, but we're
Man
not.
should gotta use some lambskin. Get off the latex, brother.
I don't know. I don't know. I think just to put a bow on this, I need there to be one blow up, and then the reunion's gonna rule next week. But I need there to be one blow up.
And then there's the couple who had the man is like super religious, but then it's like, surprise, he has kids, but he's not. He's a sperm donor.
Sperm donor for his gay friends. Yeah,
It's Tyler and
Ashley.
Ashley, yeah, the most forgettable names.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the social media stuff like outside of the show about Tyler. That man is a liar.
Oh,
He
Okay.
is full of shit. He
My
likes to
girlfriend-
raise about very important stuff.
So what is it? Because I saw that like one of his like BMs
He
did a
is
fucking Zoom
involved
interview.
in them kids' lives. He is not just a sperm donor to his lesbian friends. He has pictures of them opening Christmas gifts together and shit. Like his whole like friends and family were surprised when he announced that he was going on the show. When Ashley asked him, "Do they know what you look like?" He said, "I don't know." They know what you look like, bro. You're their dad, and you act like their dad. How are you just gonna not disclose that you're a real dad on Love? Like, what are you trying to do, brother? Like, I guess he's gonna have a nice career, like flipping supplements on Instagram after this. But like, oh my god, how do you manage to boldly lie about maybe the most important thing in your life?
And that'll come out at the reunion because they always use social media and they like see what people say. So that will come out next week. They're probably taping that like this weekend, honestly, or something.
Yup.
So that's too bad because, goddamn. So he to me looks like if Mike Evans and Aaron Donald had a Gaby, he looks like both of them.
That's fair. That's fair. Normally, I would contest these types of things, but in this case, I agree. And then I think that's really all the couples that are serious. I'm looking forward to seeing the rich asshole and Brittany come back and talk about their escapade to Miami. Alex, you watching Survivor tonight?
I watch it on Thursdays with my wife and grandmother-in-law.
No, that's a better run. I won't text you and spoil anything for you. You enjoying the season?
I'm kind of underwhelmed by it so far. It's like,
Really?
it's not bad, but I'm just like, it's pre-merge. I don't like how they do pre-merge now, where it's like the 3 tribes. I think you need probably bigger tribes because early on, like the tribal dynamics are just nonsense because everyone's like playing the game and you don't have any like actual interpersonal bonds because everyone's just like, who can I use to get to the merge? They're not actually like, when you have bigger tribes, real authentic bonds are going to form. But when it's 6 people who are all trying to do the same thing of whose back do I need to stab, whose side do I need to be on, whose numbers do I need to get to the merge, and then I can start forming like actual relationships with people. Like Jeff talks about it like it's this actual social experiment, but it's just a game. Like he's like, this is the world's greatest televised social experiment, and I'm like, then why is it so? Why are you not letting them actually be social with each other? Like I don't feel like anyone's actually. I feel like no real relationships have formed, and that's what's always the most compelling. Is like a blind side's not very interesting if you know that none of these people actually care about each other. The blind sides are the best when it's like, no, you've been friends with this person for like weeks now. Well, for them it's days, but for us it's weeks. You've been friends with this person for days, and you're like sending them home and crushing their dreams for $1 million. It's like, now, 6-person tribes, I'm just like, I could do without it.
Out of curiosity, as someone who doesn't watch, do they get people who know what the show is? If they're like intentionally, I think it'd be more interesting if you just got completely unaware people and they're like, because as the show goes on, I would think the meta and the way of playing it would become more and more aware. So you get these people who are emotionally detached and uninterested in doing the game as it's designed and trying to game it.
That's one of the big critiques of modern Survivor is it is becoming just a bunch of game bots where they're all just like running game theory in their head, like trying to figure out how to make sure that they're on the right side of the numbers. Like very few people go into Survivor where like, I'm just going to see what happens. All of them are like, no, I've been a super fan my entire life. I've seen every single episode. I have every single name of every single tribe of every single season of Survivor. I know every single winner, every single final 3 off the top of my head. It's like, can we please just get like some like HVAC worker like that has never watched an episode in their life who's like, oh, I could maybe win $1 million. Like, why not? Like, that's who I want to see on Survivor. Like, I don't care about all these super fans. It's like, come on, how many super fans do we need? And they're all podcasters and bloggers and freelance writers.
3 podcasters this season. The first 2 people eliminated were podcasters. Yeah. Who's your pick to win the show?
I think Teeny's gonna win.
Teeny?
Yeah.
Really? You think she's just like good enough at playing the middle?
I think she's like the best social player by far. Everyone loves that girl. She so
definitely leveraged herself into like a massive power position, even without her vote. I think it's Genevieve. I'm picking Genevieve.
Genevieve's good. You know who Genevieve reminds me of?
Who?
Do you remember? Did you ever watch Survivor One World, where they all start in the same tribe on the same island?
Mm-mm.
Oh well. Kim Pratlin Scott, something like that. That was her name. She won that season, and her whole thing was just being like this socially disarming person, but behind the scenes, she's just like cutthroat. And I get that vibe from her.
Yeah, when she got her boy out, I forget his name, just totally blindsided him.
Keyshawn?
Yeah, Keyshawn, when she just like got him out because he just kind of passively threw her name out there as like a decoy, and she was like, oh hell no, I'm gonna use all my power to eliminate this obvious threat. I'm like, oh yeah, you're a winner. This is unfortunate. I think you're gonna run away with this. So watch out for Genevieve, everybody. Jacob, any closing words before I hit end recording?
I got nothing.
All right, here's a clip.
And you mentioned Book and KD knowing who you are. It looked like maybe your favorite player of all time also knows who you are. We saw Steph Curry having some words with you on the court after the game. What can you tell us about that conversation?
Man, it's crazy because I've liked him since I was in like 6th grade. Like, it was, I don't even know what to say, man, because like that's my favorite player ever. And the first thing he told me was like, I'm a big fan of your game. And like, truth be told, I'm a big fan of him. You know, like I had his jersey. He signed it twice. I used to sleep under that jersey, and like I just wanted to be like him so bad. And so just to be able to meet him, him be able to have some respect for me, and then us to talk in the back, he gave me a pair of his shoes and signed them. Like, that meant the world to me, man. Like, my dad knows, my mom knows. Like, it just means a lot. And, like, I don't know. It just means a lot.